Hello, my convicts and convict catchers, the designer of Convict, bringing you guys and gals another video. So today, as you can tell from the title, these are what I would like to see and the kind of changes I'd like to see happen in Modern Warfare 2 or in any game going, from now on. In any Call of Duty or any game out there, to be honest, this could apply to most games out there. So without further ado, let's get straight to it, shall we? Here we go. So number one, skill-based matchmaking. Why am I making number one? Because it's the most worst or stupidest idea I've ever heard in my life. And all I hear, most cases, the argument is that skill-based matchmaking is in to help protect the lower players. So that they have more fun, they enjoy it, they come and buy more skins, they come back again, and they enjoy the game and not run into a game where they just get crapped on and then leave and never come back. Now, number one, skill-based matchmaking is going to do probably just that. It takes out all the fun of games that you can play. When you go into a game with skill-based matchmaking, you're not having fun. You're just playing it repetitively and just dying and dying and dying, and you're not getting no streaks going. It's not happening. You feel like you're bashing your head against a brick wall, and it's not a fun experience. So for the lesser players, also going to be the same case for them, because they're going to have the same situation or the same issue that they're going to have each and every time. Not only that, it doesn't allow you to be able to build up a skill or learn a skill and get better over time. A game, you're going to start at the beginning, you're going to have to then progress and get better and better as you go along. With skill-based matchmaking as it is, especially in Call of Duty, you're not going to get that because of the fact that skill-based matchmaking doesn't allow it. They put you against players of the same skill, so you're never going to be able to improve, get better, because you're never going to take on someone either worse or better than yourself anyway in order to do that. Now, don't get me wrong, I think there should be like a skill-based matchmaking for the lower than average percent of players, just to protect those that might be amputees or they may have uh, nearsighted or a specific type of vision, maybe not as good hearing and stuff to protect those smaller players that need the help and support to give them a chance to go into a lobby and and play games and enjoy it, and enjoy the experience. Maybe even put in bots with them to give them an experience where they can play against AI and feel good about it and enjoy themselves to play a game. But it should probably end there. Anyone who's hitting above the average or the average above, it should just be completely whoever it is just thrown in, and the only base connection I would want to see is connection, not skill, but just pure connection. Put them in a lobby with the best connection that can possibly give them. Then, when they're all in the lobby all together, then designate all the players and balance them out depending on who's in the lobby. So you've got two goats who are absolutely cracked, have one on one team, one on the other team. You've got average players, and then you've got low player, and then put them and obviously let them play the game. That way, then there's going to be some form of balance between them, but it's not going to just go and look at everyone's KD. It's just going to throw everyone into a lobby, and then it's going to balance them out that way in order to give them the opportunity to enjoy the game. Now, the only chance that there might be a slight difference is obviously if people come in with a specific team, because sometimes people party up and they'll look for the highest KD players, then you'll end up with all high KD players on one team, and then you've got one high KD player on one team, and then obviously average and small and lower tier. And then they're just going to get crapped on because of the fact that the others are partied up. I think parties should probably have a specific tailoring where the party has to go against another party and then at least both communicate. But in terms of just solos playing with randoms, it should just be balls to the walls. Just anyone based in there with connection and then balance out the team and do it that way. And then anyone in the party should go against other parties. And that way then both teams have got communication. Both teams obviously can then do whatever they can do. Whether they're a good team or a bad team, they'll obviously get experience of being able to play it. And then if I play solo, then that's fine as well. Number 2, I'm going to go with shotguns. Shotguns, I do and I've used them before and can be fun at times, but I think they should change the way shotguns are, and you should have it where shotguns only one-shot you if they are at knife range. I don't think a shotgun should kill you if they shoot you from mid-range, and especially not like the 7.25 that used to be like a pure sniper and kill you, which was stupidly insane. But a neat shotgun in particular should just be only able to kill you if they're at knifing range. Now, obviously, there should be a slight difference because there's some shotguns, obviously, that pump action and some that are semi or automatic ones. And obviously, they should be balanced in order to play like an automatic shotty should be similar to like a SMG in terms of time to kill. So you'd have to hit like 4 or 5 shots depending on obviously what their TTK is. If it's a one-shot shotty, that's a pump action, then obviously that should be the one that should be at knife range kill you. What they should also try and do, or what I would do if I was making a game, is have it where the reload animation between shots should give you 2 attempts. So you should be able to shoot someone, pump the shotgun, and then shoot another person. But if you miss either one of the shots, then you obviously should lose that fight. Shouldn't win that fight unless you can somehow get away and come back in and obviously win it another way. But it should always be balanced where you should at least be able to shoot one and get another shot before the time to kill in terms of like SMGs and ARs. It just makes sense. No flame shotguns. We don't want no explosives in shotguns. Just a pure shotgun. Like I said, knife range. That would make shotguns really good. And then the automatics will be like a normal gun or SMG where you'd have to have 4 or 5 shots to kill the person and maybe give them a little bit more range so that they obviously have that little bit more range, and maybe make it so it's not as accurate at firing, but it's more accurate if you're aiming. So that way, then someone can't just hip fire and cheese you in terms of obviously what you can do. Strafe speed or movement speed. For me, I think that they should have in movement speed similar to what they did in Call of Duty Ghosts, where you had a really, really quick, or even World War II, when they, not the one they made now, Vanguard, but the previous one, where the aim walking speed was pretty quick. So you could walk around corners and stuff and things like that, and the movement was pretty good as well. Because this would then help if they weren't to have in such as like Dead Silence and stuff, and Ninja, because what you could do is if you're aim walking or crouch walking in most games, even like Modern Warfare or Warzone, whatever, if you're crouch walking or aim walking, you are quieter than anything. If someone's not paying attention or is still a little bit busy, you're probably not going to hear the person aim walking or crouch walking into that room. Very, very difficult to hear them, and they'll get to sneak up on you and obviously take you out. I think that's a much better balance than it is to have in using anything such as like Ninja or using Dead Silence, which completely breaks the game because the audio is bad enough as it is. But then to have someone come in and you just completely don't hear anything, and then you're like, well, what's this guy? Oh, okay, yeah, Dead Silence. Yeah, that makes sense. No, it doesn't. My next one, obviously, is Dead Silence or Ninja. I don't think any of these should be in the game. I think that every particular perk in the game, if there is any perks, or could just even maybe start off and broaden that to just perks in general. All perks should have a soft counter to them, and it should not require another perk to counter that perk. I really, really hate the idea of having certain perks like Combat Scout. Why is Combat Scout in the game that allows you to shoot someone, not only highlight them for a few seconds, but then the diamond above their head stays there for a few more seconds, and it pings to the rest of your team so they know where that person is as well. Makes it for a really unfun experience because if you're being shot from far away and then get pushed by a team of 3 or 4 and you're by yourself, it's very, very difficult to be able to win a gunfight against multiple opponents, and to have something that's just going to constantly keep highlighting you, and then you can shoot you through, like at tents in Warzone or Rebirth, where they can shoot you through the entire tent and keep shooting you with, like, as if they've got aimbots or wall hacks. I mean, it's really, really stupid. It just doesn't make sense. I think all perks in particular should have soft counters, which is why I said about Dead Silence and Ninja, where they shouldn't really be in the game. The the balance to that, like in the old style Modern Warfare, was to obviously aim walk or crouch walk, because the pace of movement in that game and aim walking speed was good enough to be able to go and walk around or crouch walk around the map, and obviously take people out because they weren't ready for you, or they just hear you because they got much quieter footsteps. However, I don't think you should have completely dead silent footsteps. It's just not normal in the game, and I think there should be some sound in games to allow people to understand whether you're mantling, you're dropping down, you're doing any particular difference in your actions or anything that you hear from your end should also be relayed out to other people as well. So if you jump down and you go, then someone should hear you go, If you're climbing up and you go, then other people should hear you going, so they know you're climbing up somewhere. There should be nothing in the game that doesn't make sense or is completely different. It, or you have to have a perk to be able to hear that. It's just silly, because if you put in like Dead Silence or Ninja, then you have to definitely put in such as like Amplify, which will then combat or help go against that perk, to use that to obviously be able to hear those players that are using Ninja or Dead Silence. I just think everything really should have a nice soft counter to them, and there shouldn't really be any perks as well in the game that really break the game, such as Combat Scout, which just doesn't make sense to have that kind of thing in, or even the stupid heartbeat sensor. Luckily for Warzone 2, obviously they've put in the battery now, so it drains battery if you use the heartbeat sensor. But it would be nice to have a really, really nice, easy counter to these kind of things. Like, say for instance, someone's using a heartbeat sensor, but in the map you can go to certain areas that have mud, and you can cover yourself in mud, and that way then it stops you from making a heartbeat sense or something of that nature. Or even like if people using thermal, if you put mud on and people using thermal can't see you, because it kind of like going predator kind of idea, where you cover yourself, and obviously infrared uh, won't pick you up, or heat vision, I should say, won't pick you up, and you won't be able to be seen, sort of thing. And maybe that could be a contributing factor that could stop the heartbeat sensor from picking you up as easy, or make it a little bit harder or scrambled, sort of thing. So it makes it a little bit harder, and then obviously it wears off after so long. You have to recover yourself in. But again, stuff like this, stuff that you can go and get in, or find that's easy to get to, and obviously then use. To be honest, I would prefer them just to take out, such as heartbeat sensor, combat scout, and anything of that kind of nature. Apart from obviously thermal scopes obviously are part of playing in the game, but it would be nice to have something that could easily counter someone with thermal as well. Like I said, the whole mud thing, or if they have to have the perks, then obviously have it where, for instance, the cold-blooded perk goes against obviously that, maybe heartbeat sensors, or and everything else encounters all the electronic equipment, then obviously people can't use it. I don't know, something of that nature. I would prefer everything you put in the game, to be honest, to have a counter that doesn't require perks to do it, because then you have this issue. I think there should be no perks out there that shouldn't be able to be countered, and makes no sense. Like having Combat Scout, which there was literally no counter to that, which doesn't make sense. So the next one I would like them to bring in is the plating system. Plating system I would kind of like, and I know obviously this is not as much for multiplayer, but more for Warzone. I would like it where you have bleed through, like they did in Blackout, have bleed through for armor plates, because it doesn't make sense to have two. You drop in with two armor plates, pick up a gun, a guy's looking completely away from you, start shooting him. He turns round, he then deletes you, and he purely does it because every time you could kill him, you've got to break through all his plates and his health. And obviously, he's always going to be in front of you in terms of damage because you're already at a disadvantage of one plate. I think if you can catch someone off guard and you're shooting them, there should be also bleed through, so you don't have to break all armor plates in order to kill that person, and that way then it makes it a little bit more fair, rather than having really weird situations where like I should have killed this guy. He wasn't even staring at me, but he turns around. Why? Oh, because he's got that extra plate. He's got that extra 50 health, which allows him to cheese me out of winning. Just doesn't make sense. Loadouts. Loadouts, I would like them to change it. I kind of like the idea what they're doing at the moment with Warzone 2, where you don't get to just drop in, buy a crate and purchase a loadout and have that at the beginning of the game, because it's again really annoying. I kind of really enjoy playing something in Rebirth recently, which was the Supreme Rebirth playlist, I think it was called, because of the fact that everything you picked up was actually viable. Now, possibly this is something that maybe playtesting out whether or not they should make it into Warzone 2. And I think that would be really, really nice to have guns that are all viable, because it just doesn't make sense to have certain guns be viable and certain other guns not be viable, but make loadouts better than any other ground loot weapon, because it means that you drop in, no matter what you do, you're never going to win that person in a fight, because they are always guaranteed to win you due to the fact that their guns have more damage per mag or a faster rate of fire because of the way that they built the gun. Now, obviously, with Warzone 2, they have changed this up a little bit and made it harder, but it still is really annoying to go against people with loadout weapons when you obviously try to do your best you can. But slide cancel and you hide, you take cover, use your surroundings effectively, but still lose anyway, purely because they have that load. Makes sense. That plus armor plating obviously makes it really, really annoying and jarring when you're trying to win a fight. No, you can do. Literally, no, you can do. Someone's seen you dropping, they just literally rush you because they know that they can do. And there's nothing you can do about it. Really, really dumb. Just doesn't make sense to me. Another thing I would like them to change is the TTKs and have them balanced across the board. I think that we should go away now from having certain meta guns. I want to be able to choose any gun I want. I don't want to have to use a specific gun, a specific SMG all of the time, because every time I go into the game, every other Sad Sally, Barry, Mary, and Carrie has the same freaking gun. I want to be able to use any gun whatsoever and have fun with it and know that I can win fights, because all the guns are balanced and all the guns are fair. All the guns have the same time to kill. I think the only difference between each gun should be the fact of obviously an SMG should only be able to kill you from either close to mid range. That shotgun should only kill you from knife range. Knife obviously, knives obviously, a knife obviously, couldn't even say it, should only kill you from knife range as well. The LMGs should obviously have more range, and ARs should have more range, and obviously snipers should be one shot headshot and maybe two shot body shot in most cases, because it doesn't make sense to have certain guns better than other guns, because then it makes the RNG really, really bad to the point of you never know what you're going to get. And when you get into a fight with someone, you haven't got time to stare at the gun and know if your gun's going to be able to manage to kill that person or not. You just got a gun, you just got to hope for the best and, flip the coin and just go, right, am I landing on heads? Am I going to win this? Or is it tails? Am I going to lose this? Because he's got specifically a gun that outbeats mine. It just doesn't make sense. All guns should have the exact same time to kill and be balanced. The only difference to be obviously the sound and the speed of fire rate on the guns. But then all you need to do is just tweak the numbers and make sure that if you've got such as like a Mach 10 and someone else has got a slower firing, like maybe the Type 100, that the Mach 10 should sound like it's firing fast. And obviously the Type 100 sounds like it's shooting slower, but they both should have the same time to kill. So the Mach 10 probably has lower damage numbers, but reaches the same time to kill exactly at the same level as obviously the other gun. So that the Type 100 and Mach 10 will kill you if you both shoot each other and you both hit the target at the same time. You should effectively be able to kill each other at the same time, and no one should win that fight unless you do something specific special, like get behind cover and he misses a shot, and then you get all your shots in, and then you win that fight. So on and so forth with every other gun. All guns should have the same time to kill. The only difference should be, like I said, the gun itself, the fire rate, but it's balanced enough that every other gun, even though regardless of how slow or how fast it fires, will be able to kill you if you shot at each other from one side at each. If you were to do a test and he was to stand there, they were to stand there and shoot at the exact same time, then every gun in the actual playlist should actually be able to kill each other at the same time. The only difference should be is that you should be able to effectively out challenge your other player, outside your other player, or dolphin dive, or you're behind cover and he's not, sort of thing, and make each other miss, and that could be the only defining factor in one gun not killing the other person, sort of thing. So then any gun you pick up off the floor, if you run into someone else, it's a 50-50 chance of either that person winning or that person winning. It should not be he's always going to win because his is fire fasting. Fire fasting. It's firing faster, and this one is always going to lose because it shoots slower. It just doesn't make sense. Like me saying firing fasting makes sense either. Instead of saying firing faster, instead of firing fasting. Anyway, so yeah, those kind of changes would make a huge difference to the game. I don't know why. It just the logic goes out of the window when they're thinking of these specific things. It's just absolutely insane and crazy. But they're the kind of things I would like to see in the game. Now, I can't think of any other off the top of my head. That's about all I kind of want to see in the game that would make me happy, and that would be more than content with that. That would be amazing. That would probably be the best Call of Duty ever had they done that. But let me know what you think in the comments below. What are your set? And maybe we'll go through it and we'll do a quick Q&A and we'll go through each one and we can have a little debate of what I think is good about what you've chosen, or what I think would not be as good about what you've chosen if we have any conflicts. Maybe you agree and you think everything I've said today is spot on. If you did, then obviously that's cool. Don't forget, if you do, don't forget to like, hit that notification bell, and subscribe. It's absolutely free and doesn't hurt. And if you want to come in, I do play PC games, VR, and everything in between. So come over, check out the channel. Also, we've got merch here. Well, you can hear it on my top, hashtag #1Convict. On my top here, you can just go over to the store, right at the top, where the communities tab and everything. Go up there, go to the community shop, and you can just click on it. It'll take you directly to the link of the page where you can actually go and buy this merchant. Really nice. Out of, I think I've washed it between 5 and 7 times now. Still amazing quality. Nothing, even the color. The color's not gone or faded or anything. It's been absolutely amazing quality for what they are as well. So it's definitely worth the money for the quality. I will be doing other items I'll be adding onto the list as well. So definitely keep an eye out for that. well. Anyway, it is I, the Convict, signing out. As always, I salute you, my convicts, convicts, and hopefully enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think you would like to have in Call of Duty, and maybe we'll discuss, like I said, do a Q&A. Anyway, thank you very much, and yeah, bye for now.